Jamcast! so off, but I love it. Okay, we should be recording. Looks as if we are.
It's alive.
Check it, check. Let's turn this up just a pinch. I don't want to hear quiet voices, but I can fix that in post. Alright! We'll figure out some intro music, so... Alright, welcome to the Jamcast. It's your one-stop shop for hilarious banter and musicians showing you the process of music, talking about the influence of music, and ultimately it's just all good vibes. Be your host, Nathan Allen, also hosting this bit with me.
Zach Hendrick.
What is up?
What's going on, man?
First episode
of the podcast, the Jamcast. Let's cast some jam.
Before we get started, just a reminder, we're going to do some plugs here. You'll see this, I'll have flyers up on the screen around here. January 26th, we're doing a music comedy show. Myself, I am hosting. Zach is doing a guest spot. We're going to make love to your ears with our love instruments, or instruments of love.
We'll also bring drums and guitar.
Someone's getting fingered. So Jamcast. Oh man. Fuck, I was gonna do this one bit. That's it, forever. We're gonna have fun with this anyway. So this might be in episodes or this might be a full part, but let's get into it. We're gonna kinda like let them learn a little bit about us since they're gonna be seeing a lot of us for upcoming episodes or possible live shows. So we'll get started. I'll interview you, kind of throw back questions or get a feel for how to do it if you're not comfortable.
Right on.
So, obviously your name is Zach Hendrick. So, what got you into music?
Yes, it's Hendrick, not Hendrix. I was thoroughly disappointed. Did a 23andMe, found out Jimmy's not my uncle. He's just Hendrick. Let's see what got me into music. It's one of those things where I can't really pinpoint a starting point because the interest has always been there. In kindergarten, the one thing in my room was a Magnavox boombox, and I just steadily played with it like Rain Man / radio / I Am Sam, just constantly twisting the knobs and playing with the antenna. I actually used to get copper wiring in old hangers and extend the antenna to try to get other stations further away.
Okay.
But it went from that to my mom had an acoustic guitar that I used to just play with. I was an only child, so a lot of time on my hands. Mm-hmm. And then tuba and band in 6th grade. But then it all really changed when my church got a drum kit, set it up, but had nobody to play it. So I hopped on it and I found out pretty quickly that I could coordinate the hi-hat, snare, and bass with ease and just had natural rhythm, and I fell in love. Went from there. After that I became a pretty big audiophile, diving pretty deep into the origins of music, the extremes of music, everything in between.
So, what all instruments do you play?
Well, my primary instrument is drums. That's the only instrument I feel I've mastered, per se. But then just casually I play bass, guitar, piano, all types of percussion, kalimba, different flutes and ocarinas. I pretty much, I can play anything you give me after a while.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Was there like a specific band that you remember? Because like I can think back of like listening to music and enjoying it. You know, like you just enjoy it, toe tap, headbang, whatever. Was there ever a band or a song that you heard that made you go like, I've got to go, I want to learn this, or I need to, like, I want to play like this person? Was there like a specific, a drummer or a guitarist, even if you didn't touch the guitar first, was there somebody that you saw or a band that you heard that you were like, I've got to get good enough to play this or play like them?
Yeah, I think as a drummer, I first started off just playing along to the songs that I liked, apart from the drums in them, just as songs. I was 12, so you know, a lot of Creed and Good Charlotte and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, I started being able to separate all of the instruments when I listened to the songs, rather than just hearing this one lumped in sound that people that don't play instruments often hear.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would say bands like Tool, Rush, bands that had more than average timekeeping and the percussion really stood out to me. And then also Kansas, but that really wasn't on a drum perspective. That was more guitar and the fact that they were throwing violin in there. That grabbed me at a pretty early age.
That's pretty cool. Let's see, what other fun musical things can we get into? Is there any albums that, like, if you were to look in the past and think it could be an album that helped you through something, but it's like it's not a single, it's not, maybe it's a song, I won't create that rule, but was there ever like a piece that you can still go to and listen to and never skip a track, or that you can look back and it's a stamp on a past segment in your life? I don't think you're as old as me, but
there's definitely an album that, I mean, I have albums that are lifelong, start to finish favorites. They never get old, they only increase with value. I get chills every time I hear them. But there's one album in particular that really just, I can smell the smells when I was 15. I can feel the feelings I felt back then. I can remember like the excitements, and it's almost like I can feel those teenage hormones temporarily again. And that is What It Is to Burn by Finch. Which they were kind of a prototypical screamo band, if you will, kind of before there was a lot of bands that fit that bill.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of an early 2000s band.
Yeah, okay. So how old are you again? Because I'm trying to gauge your reference, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, I use oil of Olay, but I'm 58 years old. No, I'm 34. I was born in 88.
Alright, shit. Okay, so I thought I was much older than you, so no wonder we vibe. Alright, like I think that's a pretty good start to like a good why we get into certain things, or like we can always divulge or that's the word. We can always deep dive on another piece of it, or come back on the talking aspect of it. The Jamcast is going to primarily, we're going to do a lot of music, but we also do these little backdrops because music is more than just a beautiful sound that you hear. You don't always hear about the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making a song. That's why they do VH1 behind the music. You know, it's like, well, we rented a hotel on, you know, heroin and hookers, and then wham bam, welcome to the jungle. Like, so along those lines, we'll kind of touch on that stuff. If you're wondering, this is my baby V. I call her Vicky Valancourt. She's real nice to talk to, but
Mama says I'm forbidden from talking to her from now on, but I hope she changed her mind.
Who told you you was a Voigo?
Astrology is the devil. All right. I don't know what you're feeling. We need an intro song, so should it be vibing like the show, energetic to catch attention, or ballady because music is soul?
Could be ballady. It could be talk showy. It could be bluesy, but too standard American bluesy. They're gonna think we're gonna show them how something's made.
The flip flop.
Pencils go into the
That's play.
Hey!
Hey! Okay, we'll get that out the way. Let's see, we were jamming with something earlier. That was the, I think I had this is from a song, I think, but I think it'd be a cool intro. It'd be like, so it's... I like that. Let me, I gotta map out this back.
Move this jacket. Do as a single man often does and jacket off.
I said jam off, not jacket. So.
Migrating bass pedal.
What is the... used to do. Used to this again. And I'm playing against, like, I'm like, don't look at what I'm playing. Don't look at it. I'm nervous.
Dude, it's the same. We're both chipping off rust.
I like that I know drums enough that, like, I can just look over and I don't hear what you're playing, but I'm like, I like what you're doing. It's weird, but I can hear what you're doing.
Oh yeah, you're just hearing
just rhythms, boom, that, ding, boom, boom. Like, I'm hearing the shit you're playing, and I'm like, God damn it, I bet that sounds great.
Yeah, some of it was coming together nice for sure.
That was a cool little beat. I like that little. It's a little cookie cuttery, but.
Still, it's like heavy but melodic. I like it.
It's my jam. There we go. We'll do some like Mars Volta, fireworks, or one of my neighbors is mad and just fired. My shotgun goes chicken plow.
I never know. Mine's been known for it.
Play this, so. God damn it, hit the right strings. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so boom ba boom boom da boom da boom boom so Alright, let's try this again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 Fucking, my hands aren't working like they used to, so
same thing. We're gonna switch roles here. Hit me with some interesting questions if you would like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't want to just mimic your questions. They are definitely good interview questions, though. So, we know you are very interested in music and comedy,
Yes.
a practitioner and a fan of both.
Yes.
What made you decide to start doing musical comedy as opposed to just stand-up?
Good question. So, so comedy is my passion, and it's giving me everything that I need right now for fulfillment and sustenance in my life. The music has always been there. I've been doing that since about 12, and just after a few attempts that didn't go very far with certain bands, I just kind of lost the drive. So then once I got back into comedy, I started like stirring that creative pot again. And you know, music used to be my outlet for a lot of things, and now comedy is, or it's a part of it. But it's a little easier for me to go to the music sometimes because I feel like I'm getting better at the comedy. The music has been refined for a while. You know, I can play a few different instruments, but like I'm to that point where I'm more comfortable where I can play, but I'm also using it as a tool to try it differently than other people. Like if I'm trying to figure out the better, not the better, but my angle on it, as opposed to just playing a silly folk song or the traditional stuff. Like I'm trying to find a very niche thing with the music comedy. So it's not necessarily all about melodies and harmonies and making this song that's just so well produced that you're just like, oh my god. I'm using the music to kind of like spice the comedy up. Because a setup and a punchline is cool and it can be funny, but music enhances everything. So I feel like it adds to it. It either gives it suspense or like one of my bits, it allows me to let the audience know when to laugh, as opposed to hoping what I arrange in a speaking order solicits that response. Where I'm like, as opposed to that, I can just stop playing and they know like punchline or listen, you know. So that's kind of why I got back into it, or why I'm trying to combine the two. But it's more of a tool in a bag of comedy, not I'm this. Like I don't mind doing that. I would love if it gets me paid and gets me on tour, great. But I still don't want to step away from traditional stand-up.
Right. It's like you have your river, you have your ocean, and that's kind of your brackish that you wade in every now and then.
Yeah. I think from a comedy standpoint, I think it's important. You need to refine a tool, and then you can put it away for a minute to dust back off later. But it just opens up that many more doors if you can do a little bit of music comedy, or if you know how to do improv, and you've done, which I have an extensive background with that. I could probably walk on to another improv troupe, and I'd have to, probably a couple months of doing classes again and getting them off, knocking the rust off the bolts. But I did it for 8 years, and it counts to my improvisation with music and lyrics, and even being on stage and bantering with a heckler or someone that's just, like one of the drunk ladies. It's like, that's right, I drank a Tide Pod on accident one time. You're just like, what the fuck's going on?
My son's girlfriend has one of those. I said boobs.
Yeah. But yeah, like you gotta have, if you're able to diversify, either music, it would be being able to play different genres. It's the same thing. Comedy has its genres. And right now, I can do 2 of those things, and I'm getting booked for them. So, great. I still have a long way to go. Drive home with your comedy mentor after a mass set. It'll make you rethink some things you've been doing for a minute. Going, yeah, I need to cut that out. But yeah, that's I think I'm good on that answer. Beautiful. All right. So, to make sure I'm answering this properly and not going on a ADHD tangent, starting in the same time, around the same time, getting back into it, what do I think are the key elements?
Yeah, no, I worded that question weird.
No, you're good.
I'll put it in a non-spectrum-y way.
No, I
just since we've been back at it doing this again, what would you say are the key things you've learned in this time, in this little less than a year that we've been at it?
Just like getting back into entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Key elements. Know enough to navigate the social scenes, but don't get involved enough that you're getting caught up in things that don't promote yourself or push you to push you into the places you're trying to go, or don't get involved to the point where you're keeping yourself from reaching a goal. So, some people are just wanting to do comedy because it's fun and, they can find community there, which we have a special place at Laugh Out Lounge, because for the most part, everybody's, supportive. Maybe we might need to start being a little more tough loving, I think, because it's not that I want to hurt. I don't think anybody wants their feelings hurt, but there should be some more constructive criticism between us. But I also think that comes with a little bit of knowing each other a little bit more and maturing as this community starts as well. So I'm not trying to force anything to tell anybody they suck, but when someone eats shit on stage or bombs, you don't necessarily want to just come off and just be like, rough.
Yeah, they're like, what a shit crowd, I give them gold.
Yeah, so in that aspect, and that's specific to us, like kind of where we're at, but what I mean by knowing this, like knowing how to navigate a social scene. This isn't necessarily like individual things, but are you asking the right questions? Who do I talk to get booked? Who needs to see my set for me to get booked? Who do I need to email? Who do I need to talk to? Know who is in the know. You don't necessarily have to befriend, but I would always approach it with professionalism, because that will go so far in any type of entertainment thing. If you don't cause a bunch of issues, maybe not necessarily. I'm trying to think of where exactly what a good example would be. It doesn't necessarily mean like you're causing mayhem, but you want to be noticed for positive things. Obviously, with the stage, I took a gamble and I roasted a comedy club owner who was also hosting a showcase we were on. And it was all in fun. It was all, fair game and stuff. And it wasn't mean by any sense, but I fit him into a bit and picked on his crazy outfit he was wearing. I mean, he pulls it off. It was pimping, but I took that chance. And he came out afterwards and was like, I've never been roasted like that. He goes, that was funny as hell. Now, that was taking a chance. I'm not saying you need to do that, or you need to be a little more comfortable with yourself if you're going to do it. Because if I'd have pissed him off, I could have been banned from the club.
Yeah.
Same thing if you're doing music. Talk to the bar owners. the bartenders, if they've been there a while, tip them well. I know we don't make a lot of money, but tip them the best you can, because Mike Lee preaches this. You want people to come back, or like the showrunner, you want them to remember you, but the staff at any place, they're like, oh, they're coming back. I love it when Zach's Hendrick band comes and plays, right? So
making it rain up in the VFW.
Yeah. So in that aspect, I would always, think clearly on what your goals are, and always be cognizant of what choices may affect that. Because a lot of times we are our own worst enemies or critics. So, obviously, like for comedy, for instance, I want to be a feature act by the end of this year. A year and a half, that's not usually happening, but I feel like I'm on the path for it, especially the way I'm approaching comedy. But you definitely ask the right questions, send the right emails, make contacts, network. You don't have to be at people's asses, but don't make it known what your goal is, and the right people will attune to that, and that's what you want people talking about, even if it's bad. Man, Nate thinks he's going to be a feature act. Yeah, right. Okay, we'll see how that sounds when I'm featuring by the end of this year, because I'm going to do it. But even as a musician, how many gigs do you want? I have a friend from way back in high school. She actually helps people, and I'd love to have her on here if she ever hears this. Her name's Dara. I think she goes by Raquel as her stage name. You know Dara.
Yeah, I know her. Not well, but I know her a little bit.
Well,
yeah, she's good music.
She's great. We almost played in group together. If I were more proficient at guitar like I used to be, I might have filled in for her when she was down a guitarist, I think a few months ago. I reached out and I was like, what is it? I'm like, please tell me it's rhythm, because I can't solo anymore. But she went from, she's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Reach out to her on Facebook, because she's giving information on how she went from being in a band and doing this to now being booked 6 times a week.
Yeah, I've got her on there, and I see her her booking for the month or week or whatever, and yeah, she stays busy for sure.
She has her newest band, I think, which is, I'm gonna have to look this up and I'll edit it in the actual name, but it's something nostalgia or nostalgic. And then she has her solo thing, which is just her and her guitar. But I remember showing her a few chords, like she was starting to play, and I was like, well, what do you know? And we fiddled around a little bit. But I've known her since high school, and she's awesome. She's super, just an awesome human being. But yeah, maybe we'll get her on one time. And
yeah, she'd be a good guest.
Let her jam. She's got a crazy good voice. Any more questions?
Let's see. What all do you play? Because I know you're multifaceted as well. I know you sing, play guitar. Do you? I would almost bet you play some keys.
Yeah. So fun. We'll back up a little bit, and I'll do this. So I started trying to sing, because I wasn't good at an instrument at all. Besides, I played the recorder, in elementary, hot cross buns. Yeah. I was like, I know 2 songs, 3 blind mice.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Wait.
Yeah, I am a virtuoso on the recorder. So I started out trying to sing because my best friend, his dad gave him a guitar, and he started learning way before I did. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna sing then, since you play guitar, blah blah blah. Then it started with acoustic. Make sure it makes it bounce. That's a little bit hit the table. Started with acoustic guitar. I kind of got lessons from my friend. Learned a lot just by ear, because this is like when the internet had become more prominent. Excuse me. Whew, excuse me. Had become more prominent, and you could start getting tabs, because like tablature started becoming more mainstream, I guess, or that's when I first heard of it. I was probably like 12 when that happened. And I went from playing sports to like, all right, no more basketball. I'm gonna learn guitar, and I gained like 40 pounds. I was a fat little bastard. But no, I learned guitar. I played that for a while. I messed around on a drum set for a little bit. I was never good at it. It didn't click. And then I started going. I was in Polk. It's Polk State College now. This is back when it was Polk Community College. Tells you how old I am, or we are. But I was at Polk Community College, and I switched my major from like psychology to music because I knocked out most of my academics. And I was like, you're telling me if I give you money, I can just come here and do music all day and like learn, because I was fascinated by it. And that's when I started piano, beginner. I was pretty good on guitar, but I was very misguided because I was never properly taught. Took a class on that. Then I actually got way better at singing because I took a course on, I'm trying to remember what it was called. I had a great teacher. I was a dumbass at the end of it and ended up dropping out, but I got trained professionally at college to sing. I made it to like Music Theory 3 for like writing and composition. I did ear training 1 and 2. So like I've got a lot of basics. I'm so far removed from reading notation now. I could do it, but it would take me a minute to remember everything. Like I'd have to like write what it is. I'm very old school when it comes to learning an instrument. I prefer to watch someone play, and like if they can slow it down, or like YouTube comes in pretty handy for that. But instrument wise, I'm proficient on guitar. Just being rusty, I'm okay, but bass guitar is kind of synonymous with that since it's the same tuning and everything. I know a little bit of pop and slap with it. Never trained enough to be good. Piano at one point I was much better. I can fool around, like if we're jamming, which is kind of where the idea of this podcast came from. If you're just in the sense of jamming, I can watch an instrument and I know where I'm at, like what would be notated. I can pick out a chord and be like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. I am so rusty, but I can play drums. I could survive, let's just say that, but it would be clunky. I used to be much better, but yeah, drums, guitar, bass, singing.
I feel like all guitarists get at least a little decent at drums after a while, just from hopping on the kit at practice every time when the drummer goes to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah,
it's a cliche, but
maybe one podcast we might dive into some like old music, because I've got my old band stuff.
we do the switcheroo as well.
What?
On one. Once we play and establish things, our actual roles a little bit, we can do one just for fun, or switch instruments.
Or there might be a genre. I like my drumming kind of. Not gravitate. Well, yeah, it could be a word. I kind of gravitate to a certain style, like that. There's certain things, like there's certain beats I can still play because it was what I drilled, but. Yeah, if someone was throwing in some really syncopated shit, I'd probably fall apart. If I can ever get my buddy Adam bent down to record, he's like a virtuoso on piano, and for some reason, like that, it's one of my best buddies. we can not play together for years, and that man brings things out of me on a drum set that I don't remember playing or doing. But like it could take like 10 minutes, but after about 10 minutes, we just sync.
I have a buddy that's like that. Yeah, the synchronicity is crazy, and it's crazy how it varies and differs from person to person. And you can even have as strong of one with another musician, but it'll be different.
It's a lot like a relationship.
Yeah,
like
it is.
It's never you can go to the same aquarium and see the same fish, but there will be this different type of chemistry almost every time. Like
exactly.
You're basically making love, but through music.
Like I had a great time with Brenda, but Carla showed me that I like caramel corn. I had no idea.
I played with this one guitarist, and he was awesome, but then I met this bass player, and he tickled my ass.
With his Tom Morello uncut strings.
Some pop. Alright, so...
and I think my final question, which would be the most pressing for this type of podcast and what we're doing and everything, would be jelly or syrup?
Well, you can't syrup a biscuit up your ass. God, it depends on what you're putting it on.
An asshole.
An asshole?
An asshole, yeah. But it's a clean asshole. It's clean, it's kind of petite, a little bit of age.
You're like describe. It's like your wine tasting.
Yeah, but yeah. This is a slightly brown 1991.
It's got a hint of tofu.
Got a bit of aging and a heavy bar phase.
Smelled or smoked menthols for about 4 years.
But then Daddy's money and organic tea came in.
Yeah, I guess if it's in that case, jelly. You're gonna do jelly. Syrup gets everywhere.
Yeah, it's fruity. I can see some of the butthole getting in through the syrup, like the maple just not masking it enough.
Now, is this like traditional Canadian syrup? Maple syrup? Because that's like...
Oh, that's vicious.
Runny. That's runny, not the slow dollop.
This is like... Well, with that, I feel like you're getting the most bang for your buck, because if it's going to seep to a certain level, then you're not going to have to apply it every time. She's good for time number 2 and 3. That's like the wellness. That's like the wellness club.
All right. We're gonna. On that note, we're gonna wrap up the first interview section. We're gonna go set up to go do a little jam sesh and see if we can get some cool things out of that. So if you're watching, thanks for stopping by. See Zach or myself for the handheld tickets. You can Cash App him or myself, $10, January 26th, Laugh Out Lounge. Come see us play and tell you funny jokes while we play instruments. So signing off, Nathan Allen.
Zach Hendrick.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the music. Alright, let me change settings again, and I gotta get this thing fixed when I do a chant. Jesus Christ. It's too loud! Is that super loud? That's fine. I'm peeking on that though. Hear it?
Yeah.
So what was the intro?
Yeah, it's like soft at first. Into the, yeah.
Okay. Definite intro thing. Alright. 3, 2, 1. So we'll go. Jamcast! So man, it was so off, but I love it. We're doing it.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that. Jesus.
Alright, we'll do some like. This is some shit that I've had for a while, I don't need that rattling. Ooh. Patterns I could fuck with it. I wish if I could plug this in, I could do like delay with my guitar. I probably could. It would sound okay, but it's like one phrase, and then it picks up just the pinch to like bridge, and it's so it's. That's some old shit.